Alright, got a land battle replay here featuring Wood Elves versus Bretonnia. My Sisters of Twilight versus the Fey Enchantress. Pretty big armies. Bretonnia's got like 18 units, almost maxed there. Fey Enchantress, hiding in the woods, not wanting to make herself be seen, has got 4 Knights of the Realm and 2 Royal Pegasus Knights, all of which have anti-large. Then 5 men-at-arms with shields on the front line, and 5 peasant archers with fire arrows in the back line, so it looks pretty wide and imposing there. And then for my Wood Elves, I've got front line of spears, some dryads, 2 special spear units there with the Windsor Heart Guard, Unbreakable, and with the Wardens of Sithral, just beasts who have stock, and then 2 Zoats in the back there for the anti-large and heals flesh to stone. So we'll start things off. The sisters want to come up and get a shot off. I want all the shots to count with her, and the knights will be good targets. Pegasus knights are decent targets now that magic missiles actually hit more accurately, but I'm going to go for the chunkier units down there. So seeing that this is a really wide army here, and those peasants could just put a ton of like attrition fire on my units, especially the dryads, I start to kind of consolidate to take on like one flank, you know, like rush, put a lot of pressure on just one side of this massive thing here and kind of like make a ball with these units, have the spears guard and have the dryads just get in there and get those archers while the Zoats kind of guard with the spears against all of his mobile anti-large tools. That's the plan. Easier said than done though, because it's just a lot of stuff to get through. As the knights and mobile units for Bretonnia kind of circle around and get a scope of things, you can see I'm kind of ignoring this flank of the Bretonnia forces and just trying to push through the middle here. And now the Pegasus Knights are going to want to come in to attack the Dryads, I guess. Yeah, they'll hurt them, but they're better hurting like the Zoats or something, and now the Zoats are going to get in on them, so not an ideal little charge down there. Still, it's just the beginning here, and despite the Wood Elves having gotten into the back lines here and pressuring the archers, there's still like a ton of untouched Bretonnia forces over there. So these Pegasus are kind of being ignored. Where are the Zoats going? The Zoats are trying to chase them down, but the other ones are pushing into the archers. That's the thing with my Wood Elf army here, is like the only mobile pieces are, there's like 4 of them. There's the 2 Zoats, there's the Sisters of Twilight, and there is the Spellsinger, which I forgot to mention. She's going to be healing. She's on a regular horse, not a unicorn. So I need to use those units to pressure the archers, and pressuring the archers is going to force the engagements, which may be favorable, maybe not for me, but I need to pressure those engagements because he has me on the mobility advantage. And the way I'm going to sustain with these Zoats, just these 2 Zoats versus all those Knights of the Realm and Pegasus, is by putting heals on them, using the flesh to stone, like in this engagement, getting backed up with spears, heals from the Spellsinger. This engagement here, the Sisters are backing up the Zoats against more Royal Pegasus Knights, which these units should be tearing up these Zoats, but thanks to the support spells and abilities, they're staying in it. Notice their health is going down a bit though, and a larger scope of things tells us that there's still a lot of Bretonnia forces. My opponent's playing like conservatively, I feel. I would maybe, it seems like, why isn't he kind of just getting some cheeky charges off with these knights? But, well, one, it's a lot of stuff to micro when you have an army that large. And 2, I think when peasants rout, or peasants have they get leadership bonuses from knights, so maybe he wants to keep some knights in reserve to stop his peasants from running away. Also, he's just probably playing the long game, he hasn't even gotten the Fey Enchantress in there that much yet. My forces are balling up, losing some mass, but some of the anti-large mobile pieces for Bretonnia have been lost as well. Balance bar is a little bit in Wood Elf favor, but you can see there's still a lot of Brett forces just surrounding. The Zotes just try to force these engagements. This might not seem that favorable for the Zotes, you know? And they're going to need some backup there. There should be some heals coming in soon. And that's the thing, this is such a heal-heavy game with the Fey Enchantress throwing her heals down. And these two Zotes have Earthbloods, you know? So them plus the Spell Singers are just going to be throwing it all down in tandem. These Zotes are going down, just surviving with these buffs. And the Knights are taking off what they can, the outskirt units. And I really think that my opponent is just going for the long game. The Fey Enchantress has been out here just casting heal spells. Like, maybe she could be also getting in and using her Mist of the Lady to DPS some of my units down, seeing as the only units that can catch her would be my, like, 4 of my units. She could just be hanging out near my spears, damaging them, but that takes a lot of micro. You don't want to lose control of your lord and have them get sniped out. So the Wood Elves are just pushing through, trying to get all these archers out, because those fire arrows will eventually just whittle down these forces. And the Wardens of Sithrall, I kind of left a spear unit behind just to let my other forces advance, but these were the Wardens. I didn't mean to leave them behind. You're going to get rear charged, and you're still going to hold long enough for the rest of the forces to come. Nah, they're going to die there. And now here's a little bit of a separation of the forces where both sides kind of gain their footing again, get some stamina back, and charge in again. Assess the situation. A lot of the peasants have returned due to being inspired by the Knights. The Fey Enchantress herself comes in to finish off the Wardens. And they did hold just long enough to allow the rest of my forces kind of come in here and force another engagement. More flesh to stone on the Zotes. Some good shots from the Sisters, but a lot of those shots have been fire at will, single target damage into peasants. That was decent, but like a lot of wasted shots so far from her. Her ammo's getting kind of low. There's still a lot of Bretonnian units to take care of. But actually a lot of them are wavering right now, and a lot are spread out, so I'd say the strongest Knights of the Realm are charging in now against these Zotes, who don't really have much support. There's the Fey Enchantress as well. Heal from the Wood Elves. And now the Mist of the Lady comes into play. Everything around her is going to be taking damage as she throws her own heal on her units. So let's see, those Knights have been beaten back, and these Zotes are... their health is depleting and the healing cap is approaching for them. There are still several functioning archer units with some ammo left. And is this going to be a regrowth on the Knights of the Realm? Yes, it is. And the Fey Enchantress is pretty much unscathed herself. So, the Wood Elves do have a good chunk of units left. Healthy spears, Zotes, it's what they need to really defend against everything here. The differing factor, though, is the Fey Enchantress, actually. Wood Elves have the balance of power favor here, but let's just see what happens, as a lot of this match has been just circling around, moving around, getting these engagements, and recovering. Just tons of heals from both sides, and both of our spellcasters must be nearing depletion of Winds of Magic by now. It's probably the last heal going down on the Zotes from the Wood Elves, and the Fey Enchantress just finishing off some Eternal Guard. And these are what the remaining forces look like here. Last of the ammo for the Sisters is going to be used. Some strangling units coming from all around. I believe the Spell Singer is just going to want to chase these archers off the field just to help the balance bar. And let's fast forward a little bit here. Both kind of separating again for another engagement. And this is a pretty good heal over here on some wavering forces for the Fey Enchantress, although since their models are so low, I don't even know if they're getting any heals from it. But still, that might be one of her last heals as well. So, it looks like, yeah, the Wood Elves just wanted to push off that archer unit, and now here's the final engage. Archers without ammo, acting as a fodder screen, which was good because I for some reason just blobbed right into them. And now here comes a bunch of arrows. The Zotes will eventually get in there. And another reason why the Wood Elves should not be blobbed is because here comes the Fey Enchantress with the mist that will just continuously damage everything around here. Let's see the actual circle of it. There it is. Everything is going to be taking damage there. So let's watch the balance bar a little bit as the last healthy knights of the Fey Enchantress come into charge. Oh, no, there's the last heals. All the juice is being depleted. And let's see as these forces just waver and run. Still some archers back here shooting in. Such value from those peasants. The Mist of the Lady is wreaking havoc on the Wood Elf forces. Finally getting into the archers there, which are just really so cost effective, you know. This Wood Elf army might seem weird, but I like to bring this actually like full melee build because I think it's frustrating to bring my Glade Guard, for example, against Peasant Bowmen, which are cheaper, have just about the same range, and, you know, more models. So for all intents and purposes, in a straight up ranged trade, Wood Elves can't like outnumber like Bretonia, High Elves, you know. So against High Elves, I also bring like a full melee build as well. But anyway, most of those archers are running for the hills, and they'll still come back to shoot on the periphery. So it might be painful to watch all my Wood Elves just gather around the Fey Enchantress and let themselves get deleted, but, you know, doing the best I can. I never claimed to be the best at this game. It's like, what, 13 minutes in, my nerves are shot. But I think now I'm starting to realize, oh, okay, I shouldn't do that. So check out this charge from the Fey Enchantress. You'd think the sisters and the Spellsinger together would put a hurting on her, doing some damage. But she also has the 15 magic resist from like Favor of the Blessing of the Lady. And she is putting a whooping on these ladies. Plus that Mist of the Lady just gets through all defenses. That's why that's so good against the Zotes. Look at how depleted they are. And the archers do come back. Actually, only a couple peasant units here. The rest are fleeing. And the Fey Enchantress is just going to town. She saved herself for the late game. And now just her very presence and aura is crushing these Wood Elves. As the sisters turn their back on her, trying to run away. But Silver the Unicorn is not going to let that happen. Oh, just hitting her right in the ass. Hitting those sisters. So, I think maybe my logic was trying to draw her away from my forces and just take out the rest of the units for the sake of getting army losses. But the Fey Enchantress will chase down the sisters, and maybe I should have turned around to get a couple more attacks in. Instead, turn the eagle butt right towards her and they will die. And where's the Spellsinger? Spellsinger's getting broken by Men-at-Arms just because she's low health as well. And something I noticed that's pretty interesting about the dead sisters is when they die, you actually get to see their melee weapon. Check this out. Like, where's that thing? I want to see them fight with this while they're in melee, you know? But apparently you only see it on their death model. And the Spellsinger's already broken. I think the Fey Enchantress is just going to make sure she stays that way. So everything routed mostly when my leadership broke here, except for some Dryads and some Zotes because they are within the aura of the Winterheart Guard. Not only are these brave Eternal Guard unbreakable, but they have an Encourage aura. So I believe these two stayed in the game because of those Eternal Guard. And now you check the balance bar and it's in the favor of Morgiana Le Fay, just because she can put out so much damage with that Mist of the Lady. Looking at this where it stands right now, I don't know. I wasn't sure if I could do it. The Winterheart Guard are unbreakable, but the Mist just hurts so bad. I wasn't sure if any of these units could DPS her down fast enough. But the Dryads actually fight her first, and they have magic damage, which goes through her physical resist. So that was actually a good first engagement for leadership. And you know, I finally realized I need to split apart my forces so she can only melt one at a time, and yeah, the Dryads were a good first choice because of that magic damage. So I was a little bit surprised to see, but they're actually going to bring her down pretty quick. And now the balance bar is shifting back for the Wood Elf, so just goes to show you, this is, anything can happen here in the late game. 16 minutes in, I really thought the Fae was going to take it. She destroyed that Eagle and that Spellsinger riding a horse. Like, that Unicorn gave her such crazy charge bonus. I think that's what did it. But at the end here, everyone's exhausted and she can't take out everything. Really close game. Well played to my opponent there. And just to show you how much of an impact the Fae Enchantress made late game, check out the value of the Sisters. They were doing damage the whole game. 3,100 damage is a lot value, but check out the Fae Enchantress. 3,600, so yeah, it's crazy. I'll just take a peek at the value across the board here. Yeah, it seemed like my opponent had a just like a late game slow approach reaction style. In a game that long, each of us are going to have like many small mistakes. Like, I could have conserved a lot of ammo better, blobbing up my all my remaining army into her. So if they would have won, you know, it would have been deserved. But a few small things in there made the difference. So well played, great game. Thanks for watching.